although I don't know him personally, a lot of his stories was very similar to mine. Like at that time, you couldn't avoid working in a studio that was paying some kind of homage to some gangs, mostly biker gangs in Denmark. So the studio was owned by some bikers, but my mentor, who took me under his wing, was none of that. You know, he was like pure, great guy, very creative, very humble. Was really great to take me under his wing. Like I really owe that guy a lot. And talk about being artistic and seeing yourself as an artist. Like I really saw that guy as an artist.
Shit's about to go down. I'm feeling something in my spirit.
Chats and Tatts with Aaron Della Vedova.
Ah, yes. Here we are, back in the Chats and Tatts studio. I've been doing a lot of remote stuff. It's kind of nice to be back in my home studio today. And we're going to bring in some tribal energy with my guest today. Yeah, we're going to bring in some Aztec energy. We're going to bring in some Mayan energy. I microdosed a healthy little portion of mushrooms in my coffee today for this episode.
Just to get in the right mood.
Just to get in the mood. Yeah. I think it's kicking in.
That's the Mayan setting right there.
They love
mushrooms. They were all about intelligence, and they said the highest priestess in there. They were digesting mushrooms too to, I don't know, get into contact with their spiritual selves.
They were.
They definitely were.
That was their plant medicine of choice.
The Aztec were all about blood, and the Peruvians, they were about the gold, but the Mayans, they were all about the knowledge and the intellect about the cosmos.
So the Mayans were the spiritual ones. The Aztecs were the corporate entity that came in.
They were the more beastie ones, you could say.
Before we go too far, though, let me let everyone know who I'm talking to here. So we're just too excited to stop ourselves at the moment. But I am in studio today with Freddy Jay. He goes on Instagram by Freddy, FreddyJay 108. And I'll have him tell you why he put 108 on there. But, I only say that because if you just started the episode and you're not driving your car, you can open up Instagram and kind of see some of he's a tattoo artist, and see some of the work he does. It's absolutely fantastic. I've had the luxury of working around and with Freddy a number of times around the world. And we became friends, and he's just got such a great energy, and he's such a great tattooer. And there's a uniqueness to his work that we'll dive into as well, the type of work he does and where he's from, et cetera, et cetera. But with all that being said, I should add, he's currently working in Copenhagen, Denmark, at Dropout Tattoo with one of my favorite tattoo artists, Chris Henriksen. Fucking amazing individual. Been on the show as well.
Inspiration.
So there's all my data for you, Freddie. But with all that being said, why don't we ease into this before we go too deep? Let's just start with little Freddie, just growing up and a little Dane running around fucking Denmark. He's an outdoor enthusiast as well. I'm sure you were out there tearing shit up your whole life.
I never thought I was going to have a job sitting inside on a chair all day.
You don't seem like that kind of guy.
No, I've always been telling people I'm going to have a job where I'm going to be outside doing something more active. And there you go. You find yourself sitting on a chair with wheels for 12 hours a day in doing your apprenticeship, right? And that's now I think it's coming up on my 12th year. Okay. So still sitting down, still enjoying it.
How did art find you? I like this question. What age, or do you have a memory of when your mind said to your ego, I am an artist? I think I might be an artistic person. I might be an artist. Did that happen in a moment, or was it just?
I don't know. Like what you described there. Like to some extent, it still hasn't happened. Like to some extent, I will still look at other people who I think is an art. If you talk about the term an artist, I think about a guy who can't stop creating. Yeah. And I love doing tattoos. It's my first and one biggest passion. But I also have I see myself. I also like to do other stuff. I love surfing. We've been talking a lot about surfing before the podcast started here, and that's something I greatly admire too. So, but I think it was like a few years into the tattooing, then I got to realize, hey, well, now I'm actually living out of this. Now I'm actually not just doing it, but I'm actually starting to thrive a little bit better in this industry. But it's quite funny. Like my mom, she showed me an old what do you call it? These old Polaroid photos of me standing with a friend when we were like 3 years old, and we drew dragon on each other's backs. I can't remember that, but I have the picture of it.
Wow.
So apparently already as a kid I was into tattooing and like
Yeah.
body decorations.
Yeah, that's cool. You got to get
but
that.
then-
I got to get that one blown up.
Yeah, but just to state, then art hasn't been a part of my whole upcoming as a child. I always liked being creative, and I liked the creative thinking, but I didn't start drawing until I started tattooing. It was something that I
Really?
that is something that started simultaneously.
I see. That's different. That's a different. You don't hear that.
No, it really was. But I was an eternity apprentice for years. And
What apprentice?
Eternity. Like I was an apprentience for an eternity.
Oh, I get what you're
No,
saying.
I don't know if that's a term even, but yeah, there you go.
you're saying your apprenticeship lasted forever.
I felt
Tell
like
us
that.
about that. So, okay, how does tattoo find you? I mean, how do you find tattoo? When does
So-
apprenticeship start? What was that like?
Yeah, I was 19 when I started my apprenticeship. At that time, I didn't draw at all. I think I started drawing maybe 2 months prior to seeking an apprenticeship. It was something that. For many years, I wanted to become a pilot. I don't know where that came from. Yeah, I know where it came from. It came from surfing, and because there were so many of my surfer friends who had a lot of time, and they had the money to go travel and surfing, and they had the time, most important, to go surfing. But then I found myself growing older and realizing that that's not going to be me. That's not a life for me. So I started in college. And in the college, I started drawing actually a lot. And I was using more time drawing on my papers than I was doing actually, I don't know, the actual homework that was on it, right? So by the time I was doing that, then I came to a realization that, hey, maybe this actually could turn out to something.
And had you been tattooed at this point?
I had been tattooed. I was a great admirer of tattooing.
And you had gotten tattooed?
Yeah, and I had already gotten tattooed from mostly, like, I think at that point when I started in college, I only been tattooed more or less in other countries than Denmark.
You were the guy that would travel.
Yeah,
get a tattoo in
like I said,
some
I've been
remote-
surfing my whole life, and that has also followed with a lot of traveling. So whenever I had a travel, then I also to a destination, I also got a tattoo from that place. And at that point, I thought, oh, my whole body gonna be decorated with memories. Until I started my apprenticeship, and then you realize, oh, now I'm not gonna get tattooed for a long time. You gotta earn your your spot.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
felt.
And what
to-
was
to
that?
get-
Tell
so-
us about that, the apprenticeship. How did it kick off, and where was it at, and what was it like?
So yeah, like I said, I was in college, and I got to the realization that, well, I don't know where it came from, but I wanted to make tattoos. There was something I have always been. How could I put this? If I don't know a lot about a lot of stuff, but what I really like, I go in with like 200%. I'm very dedicated to the things that I have a passion about, and the things I don't. Well, that's also an not good thing always, right? So if something doesn't really interest me, I have a very hard time to put my focus into it.
I think I think everyone's that way if you're honest. But some people find a way to just do something they aren't interested in because they have to sometimes. But it's beautiful that you wouldn't succumb to that. You're like, no, I'm gonna do something that I'm passionate about.
I really want. Well, I started tattooing because I was so inspired by the people who did amazing tattoos. I was so intrigued by the artwork and the whole planning and the way people had different ideas to make different styles and so on. But mainly was the Polynesian tattoos that got me into tattooing. I have a friend who's a fair bit older than me. He's about 20 years older than me. So he was kind of like leading the way of getting Polynesian tattoos. He was the first guy I saw in real life having Polynesian tattoos, and that inspired me to like, whoa, is that even a style? And with the whole world about surfing, and so I feel like this is a surfer style more than it is a tribal style. That's how I like came into it. So
The surf culture.
yeah,
brought
exactly.
You into
So
it.
so yeah, I was 19, and I thought, hey, I want to start tattooing here. So I had met through a common friend. I've met this guy, the only Danish tattooer I knew at that time. His name is David. I got my hand tattooed by him. First meeting I had with him, and the second meeting I had with him was me going to the studio and say, dude, I want a tattoo. And also I had a part-time job at that time, and I was going to college, and I quit both to go to him the same night and say, hey dude, like I quit so and so, I just want to start tattoo.
I like how you quit first and then asked.
Yeah, well, there was no way around it. I was gonna start tattoo, but to be honest, I didn't.
That should be highlighted though, because most people would ask and then go quit if it worked out.
Yeah, I couldn't wait for that. If it was not gonna be, well, to be honest, I didn't even think it was gonna be with him. So I
like it's either him or the next guy.
Yeah, no, but I asked him not to get an apprenticeship with him. I asked, because I thought already he was like way beyond.
He's
like
not gonna do it.
No, right? He's not gonna take me under his wing. Like, why the fuck would he?
Right.
I'm just here, a young guy with no drawing, so like it's just a fair bit of tattoos, right? So I told him like, hey, I've been quitting so and so, and do you know anybody in the industry? Anybody I could seek to start maybe an apprenticeship? And he looked at me and was like, did you really quit your school already? like you don't even have your apprenticeship. I said, yeah, I wanna start tattooing. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna talk with my bosses. You're gonna have a spot here.
He saw that commitment, that all in.
Yeah, I think he didn't put any carrying into like my artwork, my skills at that time. It was much more like the person that he saw into it. Like there was just a guy that
energy.
That really wanted to do this here.
Yeah. The enthusiasm.
Exactly. So we started off as two guys, and as any horrible boss will do, he played us out against each other and said, hey, the one who's doing it the best, is gonna stay, and the other gonna go. So I think it kind of drove the both of us to try to maximize the best of it. And
but it was a was it an abusive relationship, or was it he was helpful?
No, definitely. Now it's pretty funny because just a few days ago I listened to the podcast that you did with Mads Till and the other Danish artist. And although I don't know him personally, a lot of his stories was very similar to mine. Like at that time, you couldn't avoid working in a studio that was paying some kind of homage to some gangs, mostly biker gangs in Denmark. So the studio was owned by some bikers, but my mentor, who took me under his wing, was none of that. He was like pure, great guy, very creative, very humble. Was really great to take me under his wing. Like I really owe that guy a lot. And talk about being artistic and seeing yourself as an artist. Like I really saw that guy as an artist. I saw that guy creating and sculpting and drawing, painting, tattooing, whatever.
And he tattooed primarily Polynesian.
No, he did
everything.
He did everything. He was one of the modern old school tattooers. So
Okay.
he's not been in the game as long as you have. But I think now I think we're coming up probably on the kind of almost like 20 years.
Okay.
He been tattooing, I would say now. But yeah. Where was I?
I was just curious what type of tattooer he was, but I thought you said he was a
but
Polynesian.
He was the, I don't know if you can put it into those words, but he was a very alternative and very spiritual guy. He opened up everything to me about spirituality, about having an approach to tattooing, and not just tattooing, but also the mindset about tattooing. Then so could be as you don't tattoo other people, clients, and so. Like unless, so for instance, if he has a client, that is some kind of loyal to him. I should not ask like, hey, don't you want a Polynesian tattoo, right? Hey, they're doing that thing. It's also he showed me the life aspects I feel to tattooing, but he also showed me of course techniques and so on. But mostly I feel very fortunate to have met exactly this guy to paving my way at the beginning for tattooing.
And you mentioned earlier your apprenticeship went on forever. How was it? How long was it?
It was like 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, in that 4 years, are you ever, tattooing people and getting paid? Or
I was tattooing from the first day. So a story from my first day of tattooing. I remember after having my job interview with my boss happened at a bar with 2 double whiskeys. That was kind of like my initiation. You were like, hey, you got 10 fingers and 2 hands, and you want to work, you want to give your soul to this industry. And I was like, well, I guess. And he said, you're hired. So
so you're actively tattooing in your apprenticeship.
yeah. So yeah, that came to me starting the first day, and I said after talking with him, like, so what do I do here? And he said, I said, what do I do if some customers come in? And he just had given me that awkward look, like, you tattoo them, of course. And I was so freaking nervous. I had this China machine, and luckily, well, now it's many years ago. I can tell that, but 2 girls came in and wanted that tattoo, and they obviously was under the influence of some alcohol. Definitely, I should have said no, but me being like only 19 and being super nervous, I thought, well, this is probably my shot. So what do you girls want to have? And she wanted an ugly cat.
Ugly?
An ugly cat. That's what she wanted. My
You're
very
like,
first
I could
tattoo.
probably pull that off.
And I was like, yeah, I could do that. So already nervous about my drawing skills. My drawing skills not being there. Then I tried to draw something and always thinking that she's gonna decline that one. And she looked at him and be like, oh, that's way too beautiful. She draws something like with 4 lines and a stick or something, right? And then was like, that was the cat I was gonna do. I was like, whew. Luckily, I think I nailed it.
Yeah. Well,
no matter how it healed it, I think it turned out ugly.
She wanted it ugly. I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure she got that.
So you got thrown into the fire, man.
Yeah.
That's an unusual apprenticeship too. I mean, I've had a few old school apprenticeships, and even those guys, they didn't have you tattooing the first day. I mean, at least a couple months, teach you a little bit of stuff.
That was kind of the get around what you heard about the industry was you get an apprenticeship, you draw, and you put in your soul for 2 years. And then you can start tattooing.
Yeah.
But you're drawing for 2 years.
Yeah.
I heard about an old school tattoo interview, or like a old school guy in Denmark, and when he had to employ new artists, he gave them the drawing test, and the drawing test was getting down in a room by yourself. He put a can of Coke in front of you, and he said, "Look at that for 30 minutes." And after 30 minutes, he come into the room again. And he said, pay very good attention to it. Every single little detail. And he came after half an hour. He took the Coke and went out away. And now draw it.
That's interesting.
It's kind of fun. So I had all these ideas about that was how apprenticeship was going to be. Yeah. And I arrived and like, hey, grab a machine and go. So it was pretty like thrown out into the pit. And I also do believe that, well, it was really not the right choice for me to go, well, now I'm happy about the journey I had, but for the first amount of years, I was very nervous about tattooing. It was something that frightened me a lot, and about who's coming to get tattooed, and how will they react if you pull off a mistake or something, right? You
had to have gone through a few of those moments, being that you were thrown right into it without any proper training.
For sure. Yeah. For sure. I've been definitely make my fair amount of mistakes.
I had a story different, but this is I had a few apprenticeships. The first guy basically robbed me for, I don't know what it was, $2,500. Okay. And then the second one, it was a little more formal, but I won't get into that one. And then my third one, so at this point I had been tattooing. So the third one was more of a working apprenticeship, meaning you're going to work like you. So my first day, the boss comes in and goes, I got a job for you. And I'm like, great, this is awesome. And it's an American Indian portrait on a guy's chest. Crazy. And I remember he hands it to me, and I think he's joking. So I go, and he looks me dead in the eyes. He's like, what are you laughing about? I go, and I squared up, and I'm like, no. He's like, I need you to do this tattoo, and it better fucking look good. And he walked away, and I was like, he's fucking serious.
What a pressure to
I barely know how to tattoo.
Right?
I fucking scratched this Indian into this guy's chest. Poor guy.
Poor guy. Poor customer that comes in.
He came back 2 or 3 times for touch-ups, and I don't know where it ultimately ended up. If you hear this episode, my friend, call me. I own a laser removal company. I have some karma, I think, around this one. I'll take care of you. But it was just
that's what you can do now, right? You have the whole laser thing going on. So well, obviously you should make a tattoo that's not meant to be removed. But now you have that option to it. But when I started 12 years ago, that wasn't really an option. I don't know if it was around the laser, but then it has been like so much in the beginning of the development that
We didn't think that was an option.
no, that we didn't think it was an option.
What you did was there for life.
Yeah, what you got told was you pull this line from A to B, and it's gonna sit exactly there.
Until that person passes away.
Exactly onto that person goes 6 feet.
Well, to finish that story though, a week later, my boss over a double whiskey. Kind of funny. He starts laughing, and I'm like, "What are you laughing at?" He's like, "Remember that Indian portrait I gave you?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "I just wanted to see you sweat. I wanted to see how you'd handle that. I knew you'd fuck it up." And I remember thinking, "Wow, man, you're fucking nuts, man. Like, you don't care about the people at all, do you?" And the ultimate truth was, no, he kind of did.
No, but I think it was also a different time. They were kind of like they didn't want to see just your skills and as an artist.
They want to see if you had balls enough.
Exactly to take on all the customers and do work for 6 hours.
But your apprenticeship reminded me of that because it has a similarity to it.
Yeah,
just throwing you in there and seeing if you back away.
It definitely did some things that I'm happy with. I think it created some backbone, some hair on the chest, being in that and it created some discipline. I would say because I was afraid to take a day off. I couldn't. I've been forced to work with super infections, and my boss was like, "Yeah, but like how many fingers you see if you count the right, you're still able to do." So I think it created some discipline for tattooing. But now. You just mentioned sitting. I just started working in a studio in Copenhagen called Dropout, and we are, I think there are about 12, 14 different artists, and I see the way their apprentices are taking on is such a better way, where you're in a calm environment that you can actually think and you actually dare to ask, and you actually also dare to ask 5 times when you don't get it, because I believe that's. You will learn. I believe you will learn so much quicker not under that kind of pressure.
Agreed. I mean,
I think you grow under pressure, but not under fear. If I should put it into those.
But you were right. It was a different time, and honestly, I don't have any anger towards the people that taught me to tattoo back then. I really don't. I mean, I understand they came up in a different time of tattooing, and it is what it is, and it was what it was. I think today, if I heard someone doing that, I'd have a different opinion.
Well, most definitely, but times has changed. Also, I feel people has more value of themselves now. Like what to, because now you have so many options. I think what created that whole culture back in the day was that there was fairly few people to go to.
Yeah.
So like, if you don't like the smell in the bakery here, what you gonna do?
Right. They had a monopoly in a way, so they could get away with a lot of bullshit. Nowadays, good luck if you're running your shop like that. I don't think you're going to be very busy anymore.
You even need to be careful what you even just have as a conversation with your client, right? Because the person's next to you might get offended of it. So we live in different times now.
I like this era.
Yeah.
I like this era. I like the professionalism.
Definitely,
I like the kindness. I like the curation of it. I like the caring for the client, and I like making people happy. And that's what it became. Thank God.
I went into this industry obviously to because I like to create, I like to draw, but also I feel it's not as many jobs in the world where you're having 100% satisfaction from your customers. Everybody who goes in to get a tattoo is happy, is happy-minded. I hope nobody gets a tattoo because they're forced to get a tattoo. Well, not in the most senses, right? So when people want to, it's because they either have a memory or they have either maybe some grief over something, but then the tattoo will help them go forward with this.
Absolutely.
So definitely like that era, but I also think it came with some goods. I'm happy to have tried the way I got introduced to it. Would I have liked it to be different with these settings that we have now? Probably, yeah. But it was what it was. We live the life that we live, and that creates us as humans.
Everything is meant to be in some funny way, and the only time you understand it is usually 20 years later when you look back. Sometimes not even then. But as a somewhat of a Buddhist, and I know you've got some Buddhist running through you, I just don't believe anything wrong is happening.
No. Everything probably comes at the right time, and because of a reason, you should learn something from it.
100%. But let's move on a little bit towards you as an artist today. So all you folks out there that are listening, that I said before, if you want to jump on your phone and check out his Instagram, Freddy Jay 108, maybe see the work I'm talking about here. But it's interesting to me that you're Danish, and here you are. I mean, you're obviously very heavily influenced by, in general, tribal tattooing. There's Polynesian stuff in your work. There's Tibetan-looking tattoos in your work. I'm probably missing a couple cultures. But the one that predominantly shines forward is the Mayan culture.
Mayan, Aztec, yeah.
Right.
It's kind of hard to differentiate, right? Because they are so much alike, those two.
Yeah, they're blending together.
When you start digging deeper into it, there's vast differences in it, of course. But in the form of artworks and so on, they can be difficult to the untrained eye to differentiate.
Yeah. I don't think I could. I'm sure you can. But you know, what's also interesting to me about your portfolio is it's not just Aztec Mayan art, it's your interpretation of Aztec Mayan. You know, I've been tattooing in Southern California for a long time, so we have our fair share of Mexican population down here and Central American population here in Southern California. So there's a lot of people who want that stuff, you know, a lot of people who do that stuff. But most of the time, what I've always seen is just pure reproduction. They want the Mayan calendar. You do the Mayan calendar. Yeah. They want this god. You do that god.
Well, you obviously always have the main characters that people want to continue get done. People always want the rain god. People always want the god of the sun and those forms. But I think the more I have like tried to evolve to evolve my tattooing into my own style, I try to. I don't know, create it. I like this cartoon, very saturated look on it. So think that with a bold outline and like a kind of a simple shading into it, but gives a lot of contrast to the works here.
But you're also, my point though, is you're not following the art form as it was done by the Mayans and Aztecs. You're letting it influence you and creating your own surrealistic interpretation of it, which I think is pretty rad. And it also becomes, you know, a lot of your work looks like what I label as decorative tattooing, right? It doesn't always have to have the Mayan calendar, the sun god.
No, it doesn't always
just
have
those
to have
shapes.
a meaning. Although I really enjoy though to create some kind of personal stories into tattooing. Like I like to have like the main aspect when you look at the tattoo. I like to have like a beautiful picture, but like small Easter eggs to combine because is this, especially now I'm referring to the Aztec and the Mayan style. There's so many details into it, so I feel like it's very easy to put in some small hidden messages. You can put symbols that representing the sky, represent dancing, represent family. These sorts of symbols. So,
how much research or how deep have you gone into the actual philosophical culture of the Mayans and the Aztecs? Obviously, you're into the art, but do you?
Well, I would say. Well, now I need to be careful what I say, but I would say some. Okay. Probably just the surface of what it is, because it's such a huge culture, but it mainly started when I was living in Brazil. At this time, I was at a place where you were kind of isolated in this city. It was in this like nature resort, so there's no roads to go to this city. You need to like flatten your tires to drive on the beach for like an hour to go there, and then there's no cars inside the city. You need to park it outside, and then it's all like sand in there. I was staying there for a couple of months, and after I think a month, I started really get bored, and I was like what can I do? And I kind of want to start reading, but well, obviously it was in Brazil and I don't speak Portuguese. Nevertheless, I can read Portuguese. So I got this app, Kindle. Shout out to Kindle for bringing you books everywhere you go on the road. Right. But there I started downloading my first books about Aztec mythology. And after I read the first one, then I thought, hey, this is very interesting. And this was, I'm not a big reader. I like to read when it's something I fancy, is something that interests me, and this was the first time I really found that thing. So I started and from then on, and from back then, I think now I've been drawing and trying to develop the knowledge about the Mexicas, the Aztecs, Mayans, and those for like 6 years, I would say, and it's just been a big snowball. rolling from there.
It
Because
grabbed you.
because the more knowledge I get from it, the more it interests me. Now for the last 2 years, I've been going to Mexico and traveling a bit around there too, and all I feel it's a lot of talks with different people, and then you take one sentence here and you take one advice here, and then I gather the knowledge from different people that I meet along the way, along reading what I can. The thing is, I don't speak Spanish yet. Hope to in hopefully not too long. I'm practicing, but a lot of the scripts is in Spanish.
Yeah, you're gonna have to learn Spanish with your career.
Yeah,
I mean,
with
and the clients. I see you tattooing so many, Mexican people, and it'd be probably make it a lot easier if you could speak to them.
Yeah, definitely would make it easier when I'm traveling in Mexico and tattooing down there, for sure. But
That's cool. One of the reasons I brought that up is I have been an avid reader of philosophy my whole life, and Buddhism definitely took hold of me in my younger years, and still has a place in my heart. But in the last 10 years ago, I came across some writings about the Toltec traditions, which the way I understand it is like the wisdom teachers of the Mayans. Maybe I got that a little bit. Maybe it was the Aztecs. I don't know. Those things blend.
The Aztecs.
The Aztecs,
Yeah.
possibly. And I just, to this day, I think that, one specific book of the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, who we had his son on here twice, Don Miguel Ruiz Jr., who has written many books more that beyond his father's work about the Toltec traditions. But I just think personally that they might have the simplest, most straightforward instruction manual on how to live a beautiful life above any other culture I've encountered. And this is personal. I don't want to make this a thing like they're the best, but for me, it really resonates. That Toltec idea. And the Toltec stuff doesn't really talk a lot about the rain god and the sun god and the calendar and all these things. It's just 4 simple rules to live your life by, and it's very direct and very straightforward. I don't know if you've ever checked that book out.
No, I'm just sitting super intrigued.
You have to read that
I
book.
need to read more about the Toltec.
It's an easy book. You can get it on audio and be done with it in a day. But I just thought I'd bring that up because I love that culture for that reason.
Gotta link that to me after.
I will.
When we're done here.
I will, 100%.
I'll gladly read that one.
Yeah, your work, though, is large format in a lot of cases, which is a whole nother part of tattooing that is its own category above, there's nothing wrong with a tattoo like the size of my fist. I don't know what to call that. That's just a tattoo. It's right there. You can see it. You put it where you want it. It's a symbol. It's a meaning. It's whatever you want. But when you get into this thing of like decorating the human body, from a neck to the butt cheek to the leg.
Well, it needs to be looking seamless.
Yes, and composed.
Well, it don't need to, but that's my interpretation of a beautiful tattoo. That's when it's coherent and the thing is seamless. It look well. I kind of like to explain it as when you're just dipping your arm in the Aztec ink. The bucket of the Aztec ink, and then it just flows all over. There's no start, no stop, no ending. It just pure. It's just pure flow.
True.
I like that aspect.
Well, I think it's just interesting how you took these shapes. It's so unique that these very unique shapes that repeat themselves, and you can see this in Viking art and all the old tribal cultures. But there's a unique shape to these little. I don't know what they call them. They don't like to do swirls. They do like little.
They do like squared spirals. Yeah.
Square spirals would be an interest. Yeah, and how have you been able to take that and
because one of the significance of those squared spirals is the significance of the starting point is looked upon as the belly button, and then because it spirals out, then you create something bigger and bigger in life. You grow as a human.
But why square? I don't know. For me, a man who has done his fair share of mushrooms, and I know in that culture they do a lot of mushrooms.
It sure did.
I personally, if you do enough
the royalties did.
You see a lot of geometric, like square and triangle shapes, and you see that in their art. So I have a feeling it has a lot to do with their consumption of hallucinogens and apathogens.
Oh, it really was. The whole civilization, especially around the Mayans, whenever they found something, whether it was jade, I don't know if they had gold, but if they found gemstones, mushrooms, and so on. It was to be brought to the kings and to the nobles. The primary people was not allowed to ingest these things, and I recently just was in Mexico, and this guy he's a doctor in Mayan cosmology, or what you would call it,
cosmology.
In the Mayan culture, and he was telling a lot of very interesting things about how the Mayans they would from a very young age this is only from the noble standpoint. So from a very young age they would take and sculpt the baby's heads, make them more pointy, because they thought that you could have a expansion of your conscience by creating this. They also made it on purpose to make their kids cross-eyed. Because cross-eyed people, when you can't look directly at something, so right now I'm looking at you and I see Aaron here, right? I see two microphones. But if I'm cross-eyed, I'm maybe more thinking about, maybe I will think more about of my intuition than thinking about like, hey, this is Aaron right here in front of me.
Oh, interesting. Kind of like take away
the focus.
The focus. So you have to get more into your intuitive self and feel your way through life versus relying on, I see the pen in front of me. I see the person in front of me.
Yeah, exactly. Because none of that is important. Also, like, you don't need to have a perfect sight because you're not the one to build the pyramids. You're just telling how you want it to look. You envisioned it.
That's so fascinating.
You just need to communicate how it's going to be.
That's a side note, but that reminds me of somebody told me something about when you look at those samurai paintings, and the samurais in a lot of the paintings are cross-eyed.
Okay.
And it was explained to me it's because in battle, if you look, say I'm fighting an opponent right in front of me, and I focus all of my attention. And
you wouldn't.
I might not see the guy off to my right that's about ready to chop my head off. So they would teach them to kind of. It's that weird thing where you know how you can use your eyes, you can look into the distance, you can unfocus. Mm-hmm. You can kind of unfocus your eyes where I'm not looking at the bridge, I'm not looking at the mountain, I'm not looking.
No, I'm just taking it all in.
All in, right. So the cross-eyed on the samurais was to I don't think they were actually cross-eyed when they were in battle, but they were trying to defocus.
Yeah.
You know, yes, fight the opponent.
It was to show the aspect of you being being aware of your surroundings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what you were just saying about the Aztec culture doing that to the kids.
Especially the Mayans were doing this.
It's crazy what they did to those kids' skulls. I've seen the
for real, but also
they're huge. You have to wonder if they had maybe it did make them enlightened, but maybe it made them mentally handicapped or something.
Well, they were also trying to not provide. They were trying to what is the word I'm looking for? They were trying to explain. They were trying to explain to everyone else that they are gods. You know, they are not humans. They are gods.
So they need to look different.
So when they were looking differently too. So the nobles too. They came in a form where they were much taller and bigger humans than the average person living in their civilization. But that was just simply to try to create so much of a different.
We're taller. We have big, long skulls. We're cross-eyed.
Exactly. So one of the
we have all the mushrooms.
Exactly. We got the knowledge.
Yeah.
So the one of the most known characters of the Mayans was a king called Pakal, and what we could read about him to this day is one of his legs was shorter, he was cross-eyed, and he had a deformed head too, and that's the holy three. In our society we would have looked upon him probably quite differently. Right.
Poorly, most likely.
Probably.
But they celebrated that difference.
There was a celebration back then because they were very fond of the people with disabilities, and especially people with deformities was looked upon as gods beings back then.
So cool. Another fact I didn't know. That's very interesting.
Another thing why that came to happen was. Something I was told that some of the pyramids, they were very fond of painting it with red painting, and that painting contained mercury in it. So because of all this ground is limestone, so when it rains, it kind of rains down some of that mercury. It goes directly through the limestone and down to the water reservoirs, and that created people being infantile and also creating these deformities and so on.
And probably a little mad,
probably
crazy.
A little mad too. Who Who would not think that?
That's another
So-
good, interesting fact.
So it's funny how there's a lot of these things that is shown in the art that has been explained later on, like by science and.
Well, they're definitely getting deeper into it nowadays. I think we talked earlier about the work of Graham Hancock, who I'm a huge fan of. I read Fingerprints of the Gods 15 years ago or whatever it was, whatever that was, and that was my eye-opening moment of like, wait a minute, the history I learned in high school might not have been totally correct. And
Exactly,
of course, that's a big thing now. At least I think it is.
And the approach I really like from him, from Graham, is that he don't keep yapping about like, oh, it was aliens all over, from different galaxies. He talks about, no, maybe it was just another civilization, far more intelligent, that like from a human race.
I was going to get to that because I love this subject. Personally.
Oh, it's very interesting. It's a rabbit hole.
It's so fun, but it's just staring us in the face. I mean, you see these structures, and I mean they're kind of saying like predate the Mayans and the Aztecs. Like, you know, you get into the alien theories, and I have seen a couple of those really interesting engravings in the I think they're Mayan engravings where it looks like a dude on a space helmet. You've seen that one, which maybe it's supposed to be a space helmet, maybe it's just decorative. Who knows? But when I go deeper down and thought about it, where I'm at currently is an advanced human civilization that got wiped out, basically. You know, the Younger Dryas theory, where they can show, what is it, 11,500 years
Or skip
ago.
to another galaxy. Who knows?
Or that. But if I had to place money, I think humans were very advanced, and I think we got rocked by a
victim to cataclysms.
Yeah, they say that Younger Dryas went on for like 1,000 years of comet impacts, and a few of them huge, right? So what are you left with at the end of that 1,000 years? You're left with a very small human population, and most likely the smart ones, the ones that know how to build pyramids, they're probably the first ones to die. Who's the ones that live? Warrior type folks, big, strong, aggressive males, right? So maybe they're not the brightest. They're not the ones that know how to build.
No, but they know how to provide or just at least take some food.
Yes, that's
Right.
who's left.
Yeah, if it comes down to like water and food are very basics for us to survive. And if the grocery store all crashes, you gotta hunt.
Yeah, you don't need the guy that understands trigonometry and algebra.
No, definitely.
He's not. You don't give a shit about that, or the
No.
Mayan calendar, or any of this stuff.
That won't stop your hunger.
No, so those guys die, and you got these guys. So that's what I think happened, and then they start repopulating, and they start reoccupying these temples and these pyramids, but they weren't the creators of these things. That's what I think.
Probably why it's a very interesting way
Who
to
knows? I
aspect
mean,
to it. Yeah.
But I do think we should be asking questions, and it really bugs me when anybody in that community, in that archaeological community or historian community, will tell you a definitive answer. That bugs me. No one should be saying we know this.
This for sure. No.
This for sure.
Also, just in the last few years, they keep discovering new routes, temples, area sites in
Or the LODAR, or whatever where they're showing LiDAR, and they're showing the road systems over the
They
Amazon
show, like,
jungle.
Probably was like 10 times bigger than
Like a million people were living there, they think.
Yeah.
All these roads, you can't see them because they're buried in jungle.
Exactly.
And now this new LiDAR.
I've been in Mexico, and I tried to walk on some pyramids that for distance just look like a hill. But some locals, they took me and my girlfriend to this place, and when first you're walking on a hill with trees, and all of a sudden you get a little further, and then when you start really looking at it, you can see steps, you can see structures, and so on.
So underneath there,
but because the jungle there is crazy, like nature, but nature by all means is wild. It will always, if everybody moved out of San Diego now and you left that for 200 years, it's also gonna look drastically
if
different.
you left this San Diego because we don't make things out of giant monolithic stone.
Yeah, exactly.
You left this place for 1,000 years or 2,000 years or even a small number, 10,000 years, which is a small number. There'd be fucking nothing here, dude.
Yeah, it would be just purely vanished.
Beach. It'd probably look like
everything again, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's fascinating. That whole culture. That's one of the reasons I like having you on today, because I'm just so fascinated by that type of history, and to see you, bringing that art back alive and modernizing it. It's pretty cool, keeping that alive in our minds. Let's not forget there were some people doing some pretty crazy shit a long time ago, and I'd like to know more about it. Like that new LiDAR thing where they're showing under the Great Pyramid. Supposedly, this is the new one.
I haven't even really gotten really much into that, but that's a whole nother story. If that is true, what they talk about, they have like pillars 2 kilometers under. like, for what purpose?
If that
you could wonder.
If that one's true, boy, that's going to blow the lid off the can. But
Yeah.
I don't know if it's true. I hope it is. Well, let's talk a little bit about work and life. I mean, you are an interesting guy to me, and I actually admire this about you. You're super passionate about tattooing. I've worked with you around the world, and I've watched you work, and I see your passion and your dedication. But you're also the type of, and I've worked around a lot of artists like that. And most of the ones that I know that are like that, they can't almost even do anything else. It's like they don't even have a fucking life outside of, and I mean, frankly, I was probably a lot like that. I mean, now after 33 years, I definitely carve off time for my family, for my health, and all these things. But you're the kind of guy that just like grinds and then goes off and disappears. That's your routine, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. We talked a little about it earlier, but what we really enjoy about tattooing is the freedom, but not just freedom to create what you want, but also the freedom to be free, do what you want. And coming back to the thing that I like to do a lot of things other than tattooing too. Tattooing is my first passion and is my priority, right? But I like to put in a lot of hard work, and then I like to travel and discover. So I've been traveling mostly of my whole life. I lived a year in Brazil as well, and hence where like my whole fascination actually from the Aztec started, because I started reading about it. Now I kind of lost it.
Well, I mean, I would just add to it, like, you have such a bright energy, and you seem so inspired about life in general.
Oh, yeah, with the travel. So 2 years ago, I started going to Mexico. I started trying to get into the Aztec aspect of the art 6 years ago. But I had my first trip to Mexico 2 years ago, and that was a huge eye opener for me, how to travel. I went down there to bicycle through Mexico, through the south of Mexico. So I did that together with my girlfriend.
Mainland Mexico.
Mainland.
Okay.
Yeah, in Yucatan.
Okay. Yeah.
I was inspired by a friend I went to school with. He's been traveling the world on bicycle. The year before that, he did the bike tour from Los Angeles down to Panama, and he said, he did 7 months of traveling. Like, that guy, huge inspiration.
Wow.
Travel and life wise.
That's cool.
But that guy, he told me that especially Mexico was just a different place to go through. It was the most beautiful place, and people were super friendly, and just like all in all, 10 out of 10 place, he said. If you should go anywhere to go on an adventure and especially go on a bike trip, go to Mexico. Then the year later after I came, and I was so fascinated by the Mexican culture, so I thought, I need to dip my toes in this here. A person once told me that if you really want to do something that's different from where you are, you need to seek the place. You need to seek the people. You need to seek the culture. If your interest is about dragons and samurais and temple, go to Japan. Like, don't just read about it, but like try to go there, see, feel the culture, walk around and experience it. So it's something now I have tried to do even more, to do a little bit more of, to get to tattoo and then take my time off to go on vacation.
It's a huge part of staying inspired. I mean, again, I know some folks that never really do that, and they just grind, and some of them do great. But I do see a lot of them flatline in a inspirational type of a way. It's almost like you got to, like you said, you got to get out. My art is influenced by European artwork mostly, so I go to Europe a lot, and every time I come home from a trip to Europe, I mean, it's like I can't wait to paint and draw.
No, exactly, and that's it, right? Because just as much as I like tattooing, it also can become a job if you do it too much. And I feel by taking the time off, it gives me all the motivation I need to go back at it again. I can work every day, for a month. I can grind for a month. But if I know, hey, I got this going on afterwards, so I'm kind of like working up to go do a tour like to go experience also other things. And I can't really be away from tattooing more than a week before I it's like tickling in the fingers again. You want like I say, you get a lot of inspiration.
I think you had tapped on this Mexican bicycle adventure. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so yeah, like I said, I had a friend. I grew up with a friend from school, Mikkel, who's been doing a lot of bicycling the past few years, and he inspired me to go on this trip. The year prior to that, he went from Los Angeles to Panama in 7 months, and doing the whole trip, all the countries he went through, he said Mexico was a 10 out of 10 place. So being a person who really liked to get some adventure and try to experience something, I think that's what I'm gonna do. You know, you hear a lot about like dangerous stuff happening in Mexico, and honestly, I didn't see any of that. So I went first time. So I've been in Mexico for the last 2 years traveling on bicycle. First year was last year, going there with my girlfriend. You mentioned before that how does a guy from Scandinavia has such a big interest from the Mexican culture, and I think like the way I started up with it was obviously looking a lot on the internet, reading books and looking at pictures on the internet, and that's why I tried to create something out from that, because there was nobody in Denmark to lean up against, right? So firstly seeing some of all the photos on the internet, and then after going to Mexico and see it like with my own eyes, it gave me so much. It was a great inspiration. It was a huge motivation to keep on doing this here and feeling like I was on the right path. And so yeah, some of these adventures and the people I meet is some of the persons who's been sharing some of their knowledge with me about this culture. So I think it's something that you don't learn everything just by 1 year, but it's a lifetime of different pieces that you're putting together, and after many years you will have a half picture, and then you can build upon that one.
And probably one of the most important parts about that is immersing yourself in the culture. You know? You can read all you want, keep reading and reading.
And honestly, people there, they've been so interesting, and they've been so welcoming. I don't know if it's because you're coming on a bicycle, but people really have their guard. They have their guards down. Yeah. You know, they are really like, what are you doing here? Where did you come from? Right?
They're not used to seeing a guy like you riding up on a bicycle or in these little towns.
No, definitely. And this year we did it again, and we did it with our dog as well. So yeah, first time we was there, I was lucky enough to find a good breeder, and I got one of the Xoloitzcuintlis Quintlis, the Aztec dogs, the hairless ones. So she was with me on all of our travel this year, like going on Mexico. I had I made this basket in front of the bike and with the gear, so she could sit there. So my dog has been climbing Mayan pyramids with me, like more than 10.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the different ones.
That's cool.
Very spoiled dog.
Well, I was going to move this into like your view of tattoo culture in these different areas, because I mean, what are the main areas? Mexico is a place you've tattooed a lot. Obviously, Denmark you've tattooed a lot.
Yeah, it's mainly like for that. Hence why I started going to Mexico too, because the Aztec and the Mayan style is probably the one that I fancy the most. But there is not too many people in Denmark who want to have Mexican culture tattoos. Yeah. There's some of my friends. I always joke around to people that if you go to Denmark and you by coincidence stumble upon my friend group, you'll see a lot of Danish people with Aztec tattooing, like Mexican tattoos. A whole group like full of like back pieces and leg sleeves and whatnot.
But you're able to stay busy there in Denmark with your Aztec, or you just do other things?
No, I am. But I influence with, like, I still like to do other styles as well. I take great pride in doing Polynesian Pacific tattooing as well as geometrical shapes. Although that I really actually like to do a combination. I think also my work really shows a combination of where I have been with the Polynesian and geometrical shapes, and then trying to convert and combine these styles together, right?
I've seen that work. Yeah,
I try to do that, but hence one of the reasons why I travel to Mexico too to work is people understand that culture much better there.
Oh yeah.
Also leads to one of the things that made me super nervous about going there and tattooing for the first time, because like you mentioned, I'm not from around there. I'm a foreigner. I'm just a gringo in their eyes, right? But so I feel like I need to put a lot of commitment and a lot of passion into what I do. And I was very nervous going there for the first time, and get thrown fingers at me like, hey, you're a pro.
I was going to ask you about that. Has
just a
anyone
poser.
ever given you shit about not being from the culture and tattooing such important cultural stuff on people and claiming it as your own?
face to like in real life? No, never.
Right.
The only thing was that I think to the Aztecs or Mayan style, the ancient Mexican culture it has kind of also been adapted by some of the more modern Mexican gangs, and there's apparently some of the signs with the Aztec they used that they in their world, they're trying to convert it into like prison stuff. Okay. And I remember I especially did one tattoo that has a specific symbol in it. It's an Aztec weapons symbol. Represents war and like fighting for what you want. And apparently that was a gang sign apparently too over in Mexico. So I start getting some messages about people say, hey, don't go to prison, and like you shouldn't tattoo this kind of symbol, but that was kind of the only I don't know if I can say hate, if that's the right word, but that was like the only negative responding I got to it. Other than that, I only been getting a lot of positive comments, and I feel it's a very sensitive topic. I feel to talk about this here, because doing something cultural when you're not from that culture, I feel it's always it's a sensitive topic to talk about, because you don't want to step on somebody's feet, right? But I hope I can only say I really hope that just by showing my motivation and my work ethic for this style here, that shines through. That my passion and the knowledge that I try to gather around it is not something I just do because I think it's fun to just jabble something on the skin, right? I like to try to create something. The most passionate things that I could come up with.
You have a true love for the art and a love for the culture, and your life proves that. And I think anyone who knows you would know that. And how could you not respect that? If I was from that culture and I saw a foreigner come in and embrace my culture and love my culture and want to be involved in my culture,
exactly, I would be the same.
I would be excited about this person.
So like I mentioned, I'm from Denmark, and we had our ancient group is the Vikings. And people all over the world are getting Vikings. Yeah. Just a few years ago, there came the TV show Vikings. It became a huge thing.
Ragnar.
Everybody was going to have Ragnar tattooed, right? Everyone who wanted a feminine Viking got a Lagertha. Yeah. So you have all these different aspects that culture is getting, especially in our modern world, right? Culture is like information. We live in the time of information. So information is just out there. Whatever you want to take, you can dive into that topic. And I don't know, like I don't feel like if somebody does a Viking tattoo in Australia, great, cool. Yeah. Well, cool that you also think that is inspiring, right?
I also think it's cool. We seem to be living in an era of our existence where, we have been relatively separated from one another. You've got, people living over in the East, and they have their beliefs and their culture, and you have people in the West, and you have, but with, like you said, the age of information, jet airplanes, and, we are blending, and we probably need to blend, because this thing of like, this is my area, stay in your area, that's not ultimately going to work out for the human race.
No, well, the borders are definitely there, but by governmental issued, but so too, like people are the same. People are the same all over. My point
though was your work is sort of it sort of speaks towards that, because you are taking these different cultures and you're fusing them together. So
I
it's
try
an
to in the best way.
it's
I
like sending
know
that
how
message almost. That's what I see in your work. It's like we're all one. We're all one thing. You know, we all are human. We all should love and care for one another. And in your art, it's expressed through, you've got, Eastern art mixed with Aztec art mixed with whatever.
And that is kind of like down to the very core of what is art. Art is something that talks to us, that makes us smile. Or like creates a feeling inside of us, right? Where there's some art is supposedly to create a negative feeling, but like mostly it's made to create something, to resonate something positive inside of you. I would say, and the thing is, like, you can stay true to one culture, but then again, Len, if you could mix those two, and that would be a beautiful piece, then why shouldn't the world see that?
Why not? I agree.
Why not bring that to, like, we have so much of what has already been made, and like, back to the thing that I believe, like, just as long as you do it with a lot of respect and thought to it, I think you should be able to infuse things.
I agree, and it's cool to hear that you haven't gotten a lot of bullshit or negativity. I mean,
Yeah,
that comment you mentioned, that's not
yeah,
even negativity.
luckily not. And I've been working a fair time in Mexico too. I go there a couple of times a year to work too, and yeah, people are super friendly, super friendly minded. Even the studio, Tres por Tres, I always work at in Mexico City. They just bid me welcome with open arms too, and I think they think it's fascinating too, or at least it's interesting why a Scandinavian kid like me wants to dig into the Mexican culture. Yeah. But it's very interesting. It's very vast, and it's something that I intend to keep pursuing and hopefully keep developing in.
That's kind of where I want to take you next. So we're going to wrap this up soon, but before we do, what is next for you? I mean, you're a pretty adventurous guy. What's on the agenda? What are you up to? Where are you going? You got any big plans, little plans? What are you thinking?
Oh yeah, so I do have one huge goal, which I can't really talk about now, but it's something involving with Mexico, and it's something that will come upon next year here. It's something to do with traveling and hopefully bringing tattooing out to some of the more smaller towns. Hopefully, but we will see that. Right now, that is just in the is the first bricks we've been laying on that road. But what I really hope to create is, well, obviously very simple. I hope that I keep having customers and being able to do what I like about this here. That I keep being that people, because tattooing is only possible as long as you have people wanting to get tattoos from you. Like, if you're a painter, you can paint as many canvases as you like to, but you have to stay relevant in order to make a tattoo, right? So what I hope to is, I have one big dream to go tattoo at a temple. Please allow me to go tattoo in Chichen Itza at some point, right? But with more realistic things, there's now I've been working a lot in Mexico, and there's a huge group of Mexican ethnicities in the States here too. So I hope to unlock that for my next chapter.
I hope you can too, and then you'll be able to visit us in California someday.
Yeah, I would love to
do some tattooing with us someday.
We'd love to. That would be a great honor.
That'd be awesome.
It really would.
Well, my friend, thank you for sharing a little bit of your life with us, and it's been fascinating hearing how you arrived at this unique location. I don't know of another tattooer out. Usually, I sit with people and they're great tattooers, but I could pretty much mention 5 or 6 other people that do work very similar, at least. But I don't know anyone doing work like you're doing, and I find that super cool that you have such a unique voice in your tattoo career. Congratulations to you for that.
Thank you.
Not many people pull that off.
I take that. Thank you. I'm very humbled.
And
to be invited here to the show here, it's a great achievement. I feel very humbled, very honored to be part of this here.
The pleasure is all.
Get an invitation by you. Huge inspiration as well. You're doing a lot for the industry here.
Thank you. It's the pleasure's all mine. Keep doing what you're doing. Get your stuff worked out so you can come see me more often, maybe. And in the meantime, I can't wait to hear about this Mexican secret adventure you're plotting and planning. So keep me posted on that.
I think now we're sitting I think this is the first time actually I sit with a camera and have to speak in front of it. But it will be something that we will document as well.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
that you should bring a camera, and in these adventures you're explaining, I'm like, you gotta have a YouTube channel, dude, or something, man. People would love to follow you.
I gotta find the time to do that. So between family tattooing and surfing,
All you need is an iPhone, dude. It's a little bit of a hassle. Just film
yeah,
it.
that it's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking greatly forward to what it will show. But for now on, the main focus is about tattooing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you again for being here. It was awesome getting to know you better, and good luck with all your adventures. All you viewers that came on this episode, thank you so much for being here, listening to the show. All that love and support that I've been getting from all of you through the DMs. Please keep it coming. We're 2.5 years deep on Chats and Tatts, and I had my doubts this thing would even be here 2.5 years later, but here we are, and I have a feeling it's going to go on for quite a few more years. So please, if you want to see something or different, or anyone you think should be on this show, hit me up, let me know. I'm all ears. But other than that, I just want to say thank you for all the likes and subscriptions and all the love you guys have been giving me on the DMs. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one. Until then, peace out.